Hello everybody and welcome to Coastal Experts. We're talking about our heating and air conditioning needs around the home, and today we are talking about moisture in our home. Of course, we know it can be a problem in our area, and joining us now, of course, our Coastal Experts from McCall's HVAC, and we have Bryant Dunn, who is a building analyst with McCall's, and so glad to see you, Bryant, once again.
Nice to see you.
So let's talk about, how does your home produce moisture?
Well, our home does produce moisture. People produce moisture, cooking, bathing, cleaning. All these things are internal sources in the home that will help produce moisture from inside the home. But we also have moisture that comes in from the outside, as we all know in Savannah.
And these are things that we definitely should think about when it comes to our heating and air conditioning needs and protecting our home.
It is, just like if you had a plumbing leak that was dripping, you would fix it. This is just really a slower version of that when it comes to the durability in the home. Because where we have moisture intrusion from the outside or moisture problems inside, degradation happens. Wood rots, we're going to have problems.
Okay, so, but you have to have some moisture in the home, that is the proper amount. So how can you tell if you have the right amount of moisture?
For human comfort, really we want to be between 40 and 60% relative humidity year-round.
40 to 60%. Now, is there a way to measure that? I mean, how do you know?
Yes, we have instruments to measure relative humidity, which we use wet bulb and dry bulb to get an accurate relative humidity measure. But many homeowners can pick up a hygrometer and measure the humidity in their home.
So if we see the moisture in our home or the humidity go too high or too low, I mean, obviously there are going to be all kinds of issues that will start to happen, and you should pay attention to those signs. So what are some issues with high humidity?
High humidity, molds and mildews are the biggest things. Stale smells, molds, mildews, rot, where we're getting continuous moisture or not taking care of our moisture. Really an air quality problem.
Which can present a lot of problems not only for the home, but for an individual as well.
As our homes get tighter, it's more important that we recognize these things for human health, that we're keeping the relative humidity in that range so that we don't promote the growth of these microbials.
Now, we've talked about mold and mildews, but there's some other issues to think about as well that we have right around our home that moisture really can present a problem for. I mean, anything from wardrobe to our keepsakes.
Oh, that's right. If in your storage areas, typically your attic, a lot of times you'll see that when things get wet in the summertime and then they dry out in the wintertime, it's going to degrade. So that's outside of our typical storage areas, but we often see it in master closets where expensive clothing has been ruined, leather goods, keepsakes, Christmas ornaments, that sort of thing.
And I know that kind of thing has happened because I've gone to my own closet before and I've picked up a pair of boots and I've thought, what in the world are wrong with these boots? And they have all kinds of signs that, you know, on the boot that it's just like almost disintegrating.
That's right. Your closet was probably too cold and humidity got into that space and the relative humidity around that leather surface was too high, above 60%. And that's when that mildew growth starts to occur. So that we control it in the space by trying to maintain it under 60%.
And what about electronics? It can also present a problem with electronics as well.
Well, on the other end, and during the winter, if we have a very loose home, we can over dry the house, electronics, sparks, static electricity, those type of things on the low side.
Okay, so we all associate humidity, of course, in the summertime, and we know how that feels. But what about humidity in the wintertime? I mean, that occurs as well.
It does, it does. It causes problems with trim in the home where you see that separation or that caulk starts to separate. As the home and the wood products in the home absorb that moisture during the summer, the more they absorb, the more they'll swell and the more they'll shrink back in the winter when that humidity gets lower. For durability in the home, if we can maintain that 40 to 60 throughout the year, we won't have this expansion and contraction during the year.
And a lot of people think that a dehumidifier is a quick fix, but not all the time.
That a dehumidifier is a good way to go if you can't fix it in any other way. It's another machine that you're running. It uses a lot of power. It'll do the job, but imagine running a heater in the home at the same time you're trying to cool the home. So dehumidifier does have its place, but we'd like to fix it some other ways.
And that's why you want to also call in the experts to answer those kinds of questions when it comes to that. What can you do to control humidity in the home? I know that McCall's, you specialize in this kind of thing. So what can you do to control humidity in the home?
The house is truly a system, so we have to have a well-sealed home, a well-sealed duct system, and a properly applied heating and air conditioning equipment. So if we get those three things, we can usually control without any special devices and keep that humidity between the 40 and 60%. We have to have proper control, source control. Cooking, we're running our range hood. Bathing, we're running our bath exhaust. So that's called source control.
So, but this is where McCall's comes in. I mean, for these kinds of issues like moisture in your home, sealing the home, all kinds of issues like this is where you guys really come in and do your thing.
We want to come in there and talk to you and figure out your goals and what your problems have been and take care of them for you.
Well, thanks so much, Bryant, for once again answering our questions when it comes to moisture in your home. I know that you give us such great information and do such a wonderful job at McCall's. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you, Natalie.
If you have any questions on moisture in your home, all you have to do is call on our experts at McCall's HVAC. They can answer all of your questions. If you have questions for any of our coastal experts, all you have to do is go to our webpage. You'll find that at wsav.com.